Welcome back to ARMEDFORAGER. Today we're going to be looking at this Dagger by Palmetto State Armory. Yeah, I already did a video on this exact one, but I feel like I didn't really give it a fair shake necessarily because the video quality wasn't really that great. It was a dark, gloomy day in Oregon, and the whole thing about that video was just subpar, and so I apologize for that. Let's look at it. I mean, yeah, so I did get the kind of tungsten gray, the slide, and the grips separately. So I did order the grip, that went to my FFL, and then I got the upper. This is not a Dagger compensator. They do have specific ones for the Dagger. This one is specific to this cut and slide, and I'll put a link here to the previous video that explains all of that. But this one has done fine. It fits really, really well. It's nice and snug in there. You do see that there is some room, and that's good because you don't want it rubbing against the slide in any fashion. As you can see, there's no scuffs or marks on that. This is a green dot. This one is 3 MOA. And this one's from CV Life. I really, really appreciate the stuff that comes out of CV Life. Like, they really do a great job at, manufacturing these things. This one is the RMR cut. So the Trigicon RMR footprint, I guess, fits in there perfectly nice and snug. As you can see, I do have irons forward, and I do plan on doing a video about why I appreciate irons forward opposed to having the irons behind the optic. So I plan on doing a video on that. There's a lot of practical uses and reasons why you would want the irons forward opposed to back here. And I think the biggest complaint or criticism is that you don't get that full length, better accuracy when you're giving up about 1 inch or 1.5 inches. So it does offer these front serrations. I really, really enjoy that. If I'm wanting, needing, or preferring just to throw the slide back that way, it's much easier for me to just have something to grab onto. Back here's fine too. A little bit more difficult when you got an optic on there, but it still works. I guess you can use the optic or you can use the rear sight. But a lot of the time I prefer just to charge it that way. So that comes standard. They offer these Daggers insanely cheap. Prices are low. They don't have to mess with third-party stuff or second-party stuff or whatever. They're not even having a party. They're just doing it solo. So they can really drive those prices down. The one thing, I guess, that is kind of lacking that I would prefer is the sights. So the sights are suppressor height or optic height, whatever the newer modern language is on that. But they're taller, so you can co-witness with this. So not a big deal. You get kind of the upper third. And I love that there's no plates. I've had issues and difficulties with plate systems. I'll leave a link here for that. That really sucked. You do everything to the specs that they tell you to do. And then when it malfunctions or really kind of just catastrophically fails, and then they're like, whatever, it's your fault. I'm glad there's no plate system involved with this. If you have something that has the same footprint, then you can just mount it directly. So pretty nice, fits in there nice and snug. I guess I just really like the look and feel of this too. I mean, this looks like a really sweet firearm. Kind of that dual tone, just banging. That thing looks awesome. You do get the rail. This cut here, you can mount your TLR, Surefire, Streamlight, whatever. You can put it on there. Kind of this finger guard, trigger guard. This has really great ergonomics to it. You can really push it up against, whatever barrier you need to, you're just in there. And then it's got this finger cutout, this kind of recessed area here, and kind of that higher ability to get your hands on there and maintain stability of the firearm. It does have some stippling here, definitely not aggressive. It does have the stippling in front and in the rear, and if you know anything about firearms when you're pressing out and holding on to the firearm, you want your grip to just be maintained in the front and the back. I mean, the human hand, that's how you're grabbing the firearm. So you're really pressing here and you're pressing into the back, not so much here and here. You do have a little bit of that. You do have kind of a cup, I guess, in that area. So it's not as big of a deal as having the stippling here and here. That's important. And the Dagger does that. So PSA, fantastic, keep doing that. There are just so many features about this for the price that are just, it's incredible. I haven't had a single malfunction with this, by the way. I have had Glocks malfunction. This has not. It's been almost 1,000 rounds through this. About every other time I come to the range with it, I do give it some lube, that CLP from Riptide. That stuff's awesome. I'll leave a link for that. But very, very, very reliable. I've had Smith & Wesson's malfunction on me, and I've also had SIG's malfunction on me. This so far has not, and I really appreciate that. I can hit my target with this very readily, very accurately. Same with Glocks. I first got into firearms with a Glock 19, and so, you know, maybe that's why, because I just have so much practice, I guess, with Glocks. And this is kind of a Glock type clone, but it offers way more than a standard Glock does out of the box. But accurate, reliable, a ton of features. Let's just keep going with it. So this slide stop or slide release, really handy, and it just feels good. It's easy to work with. There's no like really hard, aggressive needs for this. You just, and it's not ambidextrous, but I mean, it really is just smooth and it works. The mag release kind of protrudes out a little bit, but it's not in the way. And again, you get that stippling for your thumb, and it's really not that difficult. It's right here. I have large hands. I'm a very average person, but I have large hands for some reason, and it's not in the way. If I accidentally touch it, it doesn't depress the button, but I can access it. I don't have to move my hand in order to get to it. You know, it's just right there, and I'm able to perform what I need to when I need to, either at the range or even as a duty gun. One last thing I'm going to mention with the magazines. So these can drop really well already. So you don't really have to do a whole lot with that. They just fall freely. But if you get dirt in this or something, you can use these grooves here and just pull out your mag. So that's cool too. I'm just gonna fire off these rounds. We'll just see how well it performs. Okay, so pretty consistent ejection pattern. Kind of goes up and gives that little arch. Doesn't come flying out of there. The pattern isn't to the back or to the front. Let's go look for another bay where we can hit some of that steel. We'll use this Blazer ammunition. This is by CCI. It's 9mm Luger, 124 grain. And it doesn't offer the velocity immediately on the package, and I'm not gonna look for it.
Like for me,
yeah, so pretty accurate. All 10 rounds hit that guy there. We'll go a little bit further out to this guy here. I don't know, that's probably 50 yards-ish. And yeah, so that target down there is actually smaller as well. Let's see how well this does as far as accuracy. I'll probably have to adjust just a bit at first, but then we'll see if we can make it ring.
Yeah, just picked up a 10.
Yeah, so that one a little bit more difficult, but this one definitely achievable. And these ones here, let's give them a shot. And this is probably what you're going to be looking at in any self-defense situation anyway. This one over here may be a hostage type situation or somebody running away from you. So two situations you don't want to be firing at anyway.
It's your four comps. That's the part that I don't have time to look at.